While some are getting ready for the greatest year in video game history, i.e., Xbox, others are scrambling for relevance and trying to stay afloat with making deals and partnerships with stronger entities than themselves. Sony. If you're easily triggered, I advise you not to watch this video. If anything I say offends you, well, get a barf bag and a diaper because I'm going to make you throw up and ish all over yourself today.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, let's go. We got a lot to discuss. When it come to news, ain't no better than us. When it come to news, ain't no one you can trust. We got a lot to touch, so it's time to crush. We got a lot to discuss. When it come to news, ain't no better than us. When it come to news, ain't no one you can trust. We got a lot to touch, so it's time to crush. So it's time to crush.
Peace and blessings, and welcome back to Xbox Frontline News with your boy, The King. Now, we took yesterday off to observe Martin Luther King Day. I think it's important. It may not be important to you. I don't care. It's important to me. And that's what I did. But we're back at it on my son's birthday. Happy birthday, Dante. 15 years old. And a shining example of what a son is to a father. An incredible kid. But on this day, where I got so much joy, absolutely so much joy, 15 years ago, 15 years later, the pain on all ponies' eyes and faces today tells a true story of the horrific truth of the prophecy. Now, today is a day wrought with speculation, conjecture, and possibilities. If you allow me to take you down this rabbit hole with me today, you would see that I have prophesied this, emphasized this, and directed you to look at the downfall of Sony. Without further ado, my people, I give you the news.
Curiosity often leads to trouble. Goodbye, Dinah.
You know what I find absolutely funny is how people try to make it seem like this Fable artwork is any new stuff that's going on. It's not. Actually, that concept artwork, you've seen it in actual trailers for the game. Now, we're looking at the concepts and we're looking at the artwork, and the concept of the artwork concepts look exactly like the game. Actually, the concepts look a little less refined. It just gives you a broader scope of what Fable will look like. Now, we got 2 days in a wake up. And in this 2 days in a wake up, we know that we will get a chance to see Fable in all its glory. What they have so far, what should be released soon, and what the public is about to consume on a grand scale. This is brought to you by Xbox Era. A lot of people over there, Kat Mortontoe brought this article up. Now, this article is brought to you by Chance Townsend over at the Mashable 101. I got to start giving clarification for where these articles come from, because apparently people are foolish to just think I talk freely without facts. But we've known for a while that Xbox, Microsoft are looking for ways to bring cloud gaming and ads to the populace. at a lower tier. Well, what's happening now is we see that they're kind of found a way. Now, this is brought to you by Windows Central, my man Corden. Again, the thought process in these how to get this lower tier to you is, you know how you purchase a game is Play Anywhere, but it also have cloud enabled. So what Microsoft and Xbox don't want to take away from you is the cloud accessibility of the game. Well, if you don't have any form of online, if you're not on any tier of Game Pass, there would be an ad tier for, I guess a no entry fee. I don't know what the monetization of that would be, but I guess the ads running will pay for itself. And you buy your game, you'll be able to stream it, and then the ads will pop up without you having Game Pass. It's an option. How many people are streaming as their main source of gaming? If you've purchased the game digitally, I don't honestly believe that the majority of your gaming session will be streaming. Even though I've just streamed a couple of games and they run flawlessly. So I'm looking at this stuff right now and I'm trying to figure out what this means in the long run, in the long haul of things. What does this actually mean? To me, it's really a nothing burger. It's something that we knew Microsoft and Xbox was looking at. I happen to have Game Pass. I think fundamentally, as an Xbox gamer, Game Pass is essential to the ecosystem if you game there. But again, it's not mandatory. So if you want to purchase your games and this ad tier pop up and you want to stream your games as an option, I think it's something that is beneficial for you if it gives you an option. If you are a Game Pass subscriber, and I don't know why you won't be if you follow me, Game Pass has already added some big titles this month with Star Wars Outlaws and Resident Evil Village. But the next big January drop is aiming to bring even more excitement to the catalog. And I'm going to give you a rundown of the games that are dropping in Game Pass for the rest of January. Death Stranding, the Director's Cut, Roadcraft, Ninja Gaiden Ragebound. That is something that you better get. The Sims 25th Birthday Bundle, Sea of Thieves Season 18, Act 2, The Talos Principle 2, Grounded 2 Garden Update, Dead by Daylight Stranger Things DLC, Ono, The Mutanium, Drop Duchy, My Sims Cozy Bundle, Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2, and Dinka, Final Fantasy 2. Ragebound is really what I get most excited about when it comes to this stuff. Space Marines, you have to get that. And Death Stranding, Director's Cut. I think they're getting you excited and lathered up for Death Stranding 2, which should be releasing soon on the Xbox platform. Wow, 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 wow. How the mighty have fallen. We're going to talk about this in depth at the end today. Stick around. Sony's TV business is being taken over by TCL. TCL is a huge butt of my jokes on Iron Lords podcast. If you know, you know. You don't, watch some old episodes to figure it out. But this has ratcheted up my predictions for the PlayStation 6 and the Sony PlayStation brand in general 1,000-fold. Let's get to this article brought to you by Jess Weatherbed from The Verge. The two companies to form a new joint venture that will carry the Sony and Bravia branding. Sony has announced plans to spin off its TV hardware business, shifting its new joint venture with TCL. The two companies have signed a non-binding agreement for Sony's home entertainment business, with TCL set to hold 51% stake in the new venture and Sony holding 49%. With this partnership, TCL is elevating itself into the premium television landscape after innovating with technology over the last few years. If the deal goes through, it will mark the end of an era for Sony and open the door for cheaper Bravia TVs built with excellent Sony imaging, processing, and leading TCL tech. I've told you a long time ago what I knew, what I understood, and what was to be. We will attack this in a manner that is befitting of the king. Buckle up. Now, a lot of times people want to come at me and tell me, yo, King, man, you know, PlayStation is outselling Xbox. And I will tell you, right, Bella? I would tell you it's impossible not to see that Sony is selling a hell of a lot of consoles. It used to be a time when they sold a lot of Walkmans, and that went out of business. And then they sold a lot of Discmans. Well, they're no longer selling those. See, Sony used to be a big thing, a big shot. Movies, TVs, gaming, personal electronics. Nowadays, Sony is regulated to hardware that doesn't prioritize their customer. And I know you're going to say, what do you mean by that? Well, let me go by every division, right? Movie theaters, I just finished going to the movie theaters, and they've dropped probably like 5 movies in the last 2 months. They were mediocre at best. I guess gap fillers, if you will. Then the television scene. Now, Sony is a huge brand when it comes to televisions. Used to be the leading #1 brand. It used to be the only brand that I carried in my household until Samsung usurped them. TCL kind of undercut them when they went to their low budget crowd, and LG lapped them. So now we're watching the downfall of Sony. They make deals with Netflix. They make deals when it comes to gaming, because now it's a third-party device where Xbox runs ripshot all over the PlayStation hardware. Name a new Xbox title that goes over to PlayStation, and I'll tell you who's running the show. With the new Netflix deal, see, a lot of people told me that the Netflix deal that they had before, they always had a deal in place. Yeah. This deal is slightly different. Vastly different. Incredibly different. By 2029, all Sony digital releases will be exclusively on Netflix. So any partnerships, any deals that they have with anybody else will effectively be null and void. To the tune of $7 to $8 billion, Sony sold out there. But that's not the worst of it. You see, when they told their customers on the PlayStation side that they will only be releasing 1 to 2 AAA titles a year, that the cutback and reduction in gaming will be exponential, to say the least. Where this generation, Sony themselves, have put out fewer. This is the worst generation for AAA first-party titles coming from the juggernaut. but they're telling you they're selling the most consoles, but not the most games. So what the hell are these people buying these consoles for? I've told you a long time ago, with the skyrocketing prices, that hashtag no PlayStation 6, we're going to run it up on these bums. I'm going to keep the boot on Kong's neck this whole generation will be absolutely true. And you guys thought that I was playing around. Now, the latest domino to fall, or that is falling, is the television division. To one of how I phrase it to everyone, one of the worst television manufacturers that I've seen in a long time. But that kind of flipped overnight. Now, I have to acknowledge in this video that TCL has upped their game. But they upped their game on the backs of, what's the word you YNs use now? Brokies? You see, I know TCL for being televisions that you pick up at the door with your popcorn as you go inside Best Buy. I know Bravia televisions as televisions you order from the catalog. You get calibrated when it comes to your house because it is an event. But you see, nobody is buying event televisions at all. Seems like the Brokies have won. More so than you would think. The signs of troubles and cracks along the fences of PlayStation and Sony has reared its ugly head. With Shohei Yoshida-san being dismissed from the company, a lot of news has came out. With the PlayStation 3 failing, if it wasn't for the TV division to bail them out, we wouldn't have a PlayStation 4. Well, I don't think the TV division is bailing anyone out, much less the movie division. This leaves PlayStation themselves, which sells consoles that they don't make a bunch of money from, but not selling games that they make a bunch of money from. With games like Concord launching, failing, and miserably going away, with Ghost of Yote underperforming by leaps and bounds compared to Ghost of Tsushima, with every seeming first-party title from PlayStation seeming to hit a weird brick wall, where that should not be the case if you have 80 plus million consoles in the wild. The money is not right. Something's funny with these numbers. You see, under these conditions, Sony should be thriving, but yet they aren't. Dare I say, we're at the end of the road when it comes to Sony. I believe with the rising cost of chipsets, with the rising cost of consoles, Sony is not prepared to put out a console that is $1,000. That won't actually meet their expectations as a company internally, outwardly, shareholders, no one. So it's with glee in my heart that the year of 2026 AD starts the downward fall of Sony, where Xbox is on its proverbial rise to the greatest console the world has ever seen with the Magnus. I just saw someone put together 4 different consoles to make what Xbox is making for cheaper. It's such a sad state because I know the PlayStation guys are going to spin this. Oh, the TV don't got anything to do with PlayStation. PlayStation runs. Espérate. Wait a second. Hold on. Little by little, it's all going to be stripped away from you. I told you. I harbinging your beginning. I harbinging your end. I, King David Galactus, am your doom. Now I know y'all saying, yo, king. It's impossible. Sony is too big to fail. Like the stock market, like the housing crisis, like the .com boom. Your boy's cooked. He's done. It's a wrap. Wrap it up, B. Oh my God. This has been absolutely one of the best days when it comes to looking at you arrogant punks cry on Twitter. With my name being screamed and yelled throughout all of Twitter, with TCL taking control of the Sony Excellent TV Bravia brand and making it the Dollar General televisions. Slowly, the Sony TV brand will fade away. TCL will sell bargain basement televisions, Sony branded. And I will get a chance to laugh at each and every last one of you. By 2029, you will be a footnote in the history of electronics. There will be a museum erected in your name by 2035. And we will all remember fondly that the king said, hashtag no PlayStation 6. I'm going to run it up on these bums. I'm going to keep the boot on Kong's neck this whole generation. And if you don't know why I call Sony Kong, well, I'm going to let you see Sony calls themselves Kong. Well, if you liked anything in this video, please like, follow, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Because if you love Xbox, you love the king. And I drop videos daily, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Get in where you fit in. But I want you to do what I do, what I tell you to do always. I want you to go where gamers game and winners win. And try to play the Game Pass. Let's get them.
You see, bigger is actually better. Experience it all on Bravia TVs.